President Buhari meets security chiefs. House of Representatives have taken proactive steps to curb security breaches in the country. Plus, reactions trailed the military coup in South Sudan. Hello, and many thanks for joining us on Panorama and the network service of the NTA. I'm Ian Ray John. Welcome. Tough times await criminals as security chiefs set out to carry out orders to bring an end to the various acts of crime, especially in Zamfara and other parts of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari issued the orders at a strategic meeting with the service chiefs and heads of other security agencies in his office. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
Although President Muhammadu Buhari has been meeting the security chiefs almost on a weekly basis, this particular one was in response to the prevailing sense of fear, insecurity, as well as uncertainty in parts of the country, which he described as intolerable. At the strategic meeting held behind closed doors, where the Minister of Defense, service chiefs led by the Chief of Defense Staff, Acting Inspector General of Police, as well as Director General of the Department of State Services and the National Intelligence Agency. Also in attendance include the Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari, and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Gida Mustafa.
The security meeting we've just had with Mr. President is to review the strategy that we are adopting in confronting the security issues in Zamfara State, especially, and other places nationwide. And this review strategy is to address all the issues, including kidnapping, banditry, and other associated issues confronting the nation.
During the meeting, which lasted about 2 hours, President Muhammadu Buhari expressed serious concern over the heightened tension amongst Nigerians following renewed hostilities by criminal elements that constantly threaten lives and livelihoods. This, he warned, must be brought to an end for peace to reign supreme in the land.
The marching order is for us to deal with this issue immediately and ruthlessly and ensure that all those bandits are immediately dealt with, and all those issues that are bordering with our security are properly addressed.
On his part, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, is assuring Nigerians that solutions have been found to the acts of kidnapping along Abuja-Kaduna Road.
I want to assure Nigerians that Kaduna-Abuja Road is now safe. We have cleared the road. We've arrested a lot of the kidnappers, and in confrontation with some of them, some were fatally injured. So the road is cleared. Our patrol teams, the combined security services that are patrolling the road are there constantly 24 hours.
The acting IGP has just returned from the northwest Nigeria on a fact-finding mission. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Recently, the Nigerian military relocated internally displaced persons camps to communities in Kaga and Konjiga local government areas of Borno State. To address concerns raised by the action, Governor Kashim Shettima is in Abuja for meetings with some heads of security agencies. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has the details.
Considering the evolving and complex nature of security threats in the Northeast, deliberations were held behind closed doors. Top on the agenda is the recent spate of attacks and issues surrounding the relocation of communities to avoid collateral damages that may occur in the ongoing Operation Yenchin Tapki involving the Nigerian military and the multinational joint task force. Addressing journalists, the Minister of Defense, Mansour Dan Ali, expressed government's commitment to ensure safety of lives and property across the country.
You cannot uproot somebody from his village because of operation. You know, we had two means of dealing with insurgency. We had the hard approach and the political approach. The political approach is where you take people along, where you call them winning the hearts and minds of the populace. Then the other one, the hard approach, is the military approach, which we've been doing. And politically, I think we are looking into that. We are going to have a security brief. I'll brief the council on the issue and we'll come to a common understanding.
And has appreciated the depth of our feeling and has promised to address those issues before the week runs out.
After a similar meeting with the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai, Governor Kashim Shettima expressed confidence and satisfaction on measures to address issues raised.
We have come to him and he has promptly addressed our concerns, and we remain eternally grateful to officers and men of the Nigerian Army for all the sacrifices they have made. My concerns have been laid to rest.
The governor was also at the headquarters, Department of State Services, for a similar mission. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And still on security, senior police officers converged on Abuja to examine ways of putting an end to other forms of criminality in the country. This follows the achievements of Operation Puff Arthur in North-West and North-Central Nigeria. Chimobi Water Naji reports.
It is no longer news that there has been an upsurge in criminal activities across the country since the conclusion of the 2019 elections. These crimes, ranging from kidnapping, insurgency and armed banditry in different states across the country, gave rise to the introduction of an operational response team, codenamed Operation Puff Arthur, on the 5th of April 2019. Few days after the introduction of the Operation Puff Arthur, how has it tackled crime across the country? That is what this high-level meeting of senior police officers in Abuja tends to evaluate.
Consequently, I charge you all, as you return to your various commands, to renew your sense of commitment to duty and demonstrate requisite professional leadership needed to roll back the current unacceptable trend of crimes in your commands.
For criminals to be completely degraded, the meeting highlighted the need for improved synergy with other security agencies, improved community policing strategy, as this will boost public confidence in the system. The Inspector General of Police further charged the senior officers to brace up to the challenges of the times and look for creative ways of handling security challenges in their areas. In Abuja, Chimobi Walter Naji, NTA News.
And the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to impress on security agencies the need to be proactive in curbing security breaches in parts of the country. National Assembly correspondent Lamia Ali brings us details on this and other issues debated during Thursday's plenary.
The lawmakers, while taking matters of urgent public importance following a motion by Representative Mark Bila, expressed concern on cases of killings and kidnappings and called on authorities to put a stop to such unfortunate incidences.
In Benue, Kaduna, Zamfara, and other states of the Federation from January 2019 till date, which has resulted in the loss of thousands of innocent lives and the displacement of thousands of Nigerians who have fled their homes and means of livelihood for fear of losing their lives.
Representative Kingsley Chinda also informed the House of the alleged killing of an ad hoc staff of INEC during the governorship and state assembly elections in Rivers State, to which the House also resolved to investigate.
He was a lecturer in the State Polytechnic and volunteered to do the job of a returning officer for this country, and he lost his life in course of that assignment.
Another issue the lawmakers debated on and resolved to investigate is the alleged illegal acquisition of land by some foreign concerns in Jigawa State, brought up by Representative Sani Zoro, while NEMA was urged to provide relief materials to victims of rainstorm in Mungu, Plateau State, as requested by Representative Bulus Maren. A minute's silence was observed for all those who lost their lives in the natural and man-made disasters, just as the House mourned the death of a former House leader, Ibiwe Sowo.
May the gentle souls of the departed rest in perfect peace. Amen.
In the meantime, 4 bills were passed at plenary, one of which is the bill to establish Nigerian Natural Medicine Development Agency, while debates on the bill to establish Chartered Institute of Forensic and Investigative Auditors of Nigeria was adjourned to next legislative sitting following passionate debates for and against its passage. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Chief of Army Staff, General Turku Buratai, says plans are underway to establish a military formation in Kogi State to stem criminal activities and any form of insurgency in the confluent state. Francis Udoja reports that to this end, a delegation was in the state to inspect the project sites.
Kogi State, at a point in time, was bedeviled with several cases of farmers' herdsmen clashes, banditry, kidnapping and other forms of crimes, which has given the state negative image in the media. It is as a result of these and in line with the federal government commitment to tackling the menace that informed the decision of Nigerian Army to establish a military formation known as 109 Special Forces Battalion Barrack in Okene, the central part of the state. Major General Ademo Adeku-Salio, who led the delegation on inspection of the location, met the Ohinoi of Ebiraland, Alhaji Ado Ibrahim, to intimate him on the essence of the visit to the area. The delegation thereafter inspected facilities at the Force Operational Base, Government Secondary and Okene Secondary Schools to ascertain the convenience of the areas.
The approval for Barrack has been granted already, and what we're here for is just to put effect to that approval, so you can be sure that it will be as soon as possible.
The delegation was earlier received by the Secretary to the state government and other government functionaries, where they were intimated on the purpose of the visit. The delegation is expected to report back to the Chief of Army Staff. From Okene, I am Francis Udojo, NTA News.
And staying with security, the Nigerian Air Force is tackling the nation's security challenges by deploying its platforms to contain security in Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara, and Birni Gwari in Kaduna State through effective projection of air power. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, stated this in a message to the inauguration of the projects in the Nigerian Air Force Base, Kaduna. Ibrahim Belu Gunda reports.
The provision of infrastructure, renovation and upgrade of existing quarters by Nigerian Air Force is part of the strategies to actualize the policy thrust of the force towards operational efficiency. The newly inaugurated project at Nigerian Air Force Base Mondo are 2 blocks of 21-bedroom accommodation facility for students of Regiment Training Center, 3 blocks of 10 rooms each for cadets of Military Training Center, and renovated Air Police School.
The Nigerian Air Force is doing a lot in support of the ongoing counterinsurgency operations as well as other security challenges nationwide. We are also working hand in hand with the Nigeria Police and other agencies.
The Chief of the SAP is on the right course to bequeath a better equipped, highly motivated and operational effective service that will continue to make the nation proud.
In addition to provision of projects, the Nigerian Air Force says it is committed to human capacity development through robust and result-oriented training to its personnel for effective fight against insecurity. In Kaduna, Ibrahim Bello Gunda, NTA News.
And in other news, former Vice President and the PDP presidential candidate in the February 23rd presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, has been cautioned to tour the path of honor and patriotism rather than heating up the polity in the name of seeking redress. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed stated this in a media briefing in Abuja. Anthony Forson brings us details.
Recently, posters of former Vice President and the PDP presidential candidate in the February 23rd presidential election surfaced on the streets of Abuja. It is in response to this that the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, flanked by the Senior Special Assistant Media and Publicity to the President, Malam Garba Shehu, wondered if Atiku Abubakar has embarked on a fresh campaign, but noted that media reports have it that Atiku Abubakar has engaged the services of a U.S. lobbyist firm to convince the United States government not to recognize President Muhammadu Buhari until the Supreme Court rules on the suit filed by the PDP presidential candidate.
What Alhaji Abubakar Atiku is up to? Is he starting a fresh campaign after the elections have been won and lost? Has he rescinded his decision to challenge the results of the presidential election in court, perhaps after realizing that the results he claimed to have obtained from the INEC back servers are cooked? Is he now going for self-help? What really is Atiku's motive?
The minister maintained that President Muhammadu Buhari won the election fair and square and called on Atiku not to be deluded.
There's no doubt that the fair PDP presidential candidate, out of desperation, is thinking of replicating the Venezuelan model right here in Nigeria. But you should realize that Nigeria is not Venezuela and that the situations in both countries are not the same.
Pointing at President Muhammadu Buhari's pro-poor policies as a huge success which fueled his re-election, the minister said Atiku Abubakar should take solace in the fate that has befallen him.
He should stop overheating the polity and quit trying to instigate a political crisis in Nigeria. No citizen, no matter how highly placed, is above the loss of the land. Enough is enough.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And if you just joined us, you're watching Panorama on the network service of the NTA. Now time to take a break. Panorama returns in a bit.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Good to have you back. And now heading straight to the court, the Supreme Court has dismissed the two separate appeals filed by the All Progressives Congress and its governorship candidate, Tony Cole, on the grounds that the notices of appeal that brought the case to the Supreme Court were incompetent. Aliyu Turku reports that the appeals are seeking the apex court to allow the parties participate in the 2019 general elections in Rivers State. In the two notices of appeal, the appellants had mistakenly addressed their appeals to the Court of Appeal instead of the Supreme Court, asking the apex court to overrule its earlier decision, which upheld the restraining of the APC from fielding candidates in the elections in Rivers State. The APC Council argued that the restraining order obtained from the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt Division, was fraudulent. In its ruling delivered by the acting Justice of Nigeria, Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, the apex court agreed that the notices of appeal by both the APC and Tony Cole were defective and grossly incompetent. The court therefore struck out the notices of appeal and dismissed the appeals.
We are in court because a judgment was delivered without jurisdiction, and everybody is relying on it. And that judgment was made a subject of course of action before the Federal High Court. And as you saw us argue in our briefs, which is there, is that when you pick a judgment which is null and void and use it as a foundation to granting an action in another court, the person affected can raise the point that that judgment you are relying upon was delivered without jurisdiction.
The judgment of the of the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt that initially went to the Court of Appeal. It was that decision that actually held that, having regard to the earlier judgment of the Rivers State High Court, the All Progressives Congress, APC, cannot participate in the 2019 general elections.
With the judgment of the Apex Court, all legal issues concerning the Rivers State APC in relation to the 2019 elections has been laid to rest. And staying with the judiciary, Justice Okon Abang of the Federal High Court Abuja has suspended delivering a judgment on the defection of some National Assembly members to other political parties other than the ones that sponsored them to the National Assembly. This is to give the legislators a hearing in the next 24 hours before the delivery of the judgment. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okebo reports.
55 members of the National Assembly who last year had defected to various political parties have been given up to Friday 12th of this month to put in their defense processes before the court. Justice Okon Abang had fixed Thursday 11th to deliver judgment in a suit filed by an NGO, Legal Defense and Assistance Project, led up, asking the defected legislators to vacate their seats and pay back the salaries that have accrued to them during their defection to government. But at the day sitting, the defected members made an appearance in court through a counsel, Mahmoud Magaji, SAN, who told the court that he had made an application challenging the jurisdiction of the court and the locus of the plaintiff, and asked that the court tarry a while before delivering the judgment. Counsel to the plaintiff, Ede Oko, objected to the defendants' attempt to arrest the judgment, wondering why they had shown disrespect to the court by previously ignoring the processes earlier served on them. The judge, however, struck a middle line by giving the defense a short time to file their processes.
There wouldn't be any need why they should shut the door of justice against the defendants, in spite of, quote and unquote, the impunity displayed. I think there was a mix-up from the part of our clients in respect of the service of the process of courts.
The conduct of the defendants in this matter does not deserve sympathetic consideration of the court. But the court finds that in the interest of fair hearing and justice, that the defendant should be given opportunity to be heard.
The judgment is then to be delivered after giving the defected legislators a fair hearing. In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
And now, looking at education, the first batch of the 1.2 million accredited candidates have started sitting for this year's Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board exams across the country. Doyi Dia in Abuja monitored the exercise, which had biometrics before and after the examination.
This is the first time the Joint Admissions Matriculation Board JAMB is introducing the biometric data capturing of candidates before and after the computer-based examinations at the Global Distant Learning Institutes in the nation's capital city. Candidates were seen filing in one after the other to confirm their fingerprints before proceeding to the exam hall.
It's going fine. They captured me once.
Based on this venue, I can rate them 75.
It was safe for me because my hands was not wet.
There are 3 sessions for today. There's the 7 o'clock session, there's the 10 o'clock session, and then there's the 1 p.m. session.
The story is similar at the Cham City Center.
It was good, but they actually wasted our time.
While the exercise was adjudged seamless, there are few candidates whose fingerprints were not initially recognized.
So they did all my fingers and they did it again. It didn't come out. I was asked to go to the toilet and wash my hands.
I had to go and buy pens outside. So she said my hand was sweating. Okay. And that was the reason.
Have you had any case of anyone that, despite washing and all of that, was still not able to capture?
No, there's none.
Some parents at the centers visited made some observations.
We are told that they should not go in with anything except their sleep. They said that they needed pencil. They did not give them pencil as was said earlier on.
The federal government has said that they reduced the money of JAM and NECO effective from January 2019. But out now, we are paying more than that. What is the problem? We wanted the federal government to let us know.
The exercise continues until Tuesday, April 16, 2019 in Abuja, doing DR NTA News.
And away from Nigeria, President Omar al-Bashir, who ruled Sudan for 30 years, was on Thursday overthrown in a coup by the country's armed forces. Justin Bem-Onye reports that the new regime announced a 2-year period of military rule to be followed by elections. Professor Shita Shita is the Executive Director of Ubuntu Center for Africa, Peace, Building and Development, and explains further.
Every competent observer of developments in the Sudan will have noticed that Omar al-Bashir has since outlived his usefulness in that country, and it was just a matter of time that the people should get him out of the office.
And that wraps up our package and Panorama today. Many thanks for being a part of it. Do join us at 4 for Nationwide.